Okay, fine. In the last session, okay, we'll have quick recap. In the last session, I'm able to create some sample CSV or flat file data, and I have placed the data in the input folder. Okay. So once after placing the file in the input folder, now first my requirement was that I need to read the data and I need to fetch the data into the Boomi. So in order to read the data and in order to fetch the data into the Boomi, here I have used the start step of disconnector. Okay. So why I have chosen start step of disconnector? Whenever you want to read the data or write the data from the host machine, wherever the atom is running, at that point of time, I have to use the disk connector. Okay, fine. With the help of this disk connector, I am able to read the data and I am able to fetch the data into the Boomi. After that, my requirement is that I need to write the same data into some other output folder. అంటే నా యొక్క ఇన్పుట్ ఫోల్డర్ లో ఉన్నటువంటి ఆర్డర్స్ ఫైల్ ఏదైతే ఉందో సేమ్ అదే ఆర్డర్స్ ఫైల్ ని నేను అవుట్పుట్ ఫోల్డర్ లోకి ప్లేస్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, ఐ నీడ్ టు ప్లేస్ ద సేమ్ ఫైల్ ఇన్ ద అవుట్పుట్ ఫోల్డర్. ఓకే, in order to write the data into the output folder, here I have used one more disconnector. Okay, so why I have used one more disconnector? Whenever you want to read or write, okay, మీరు ఏదైనా సరే డేటా రీడ్ చేయాలన్నా రైట్ చేయాలన్నా you have to use the disconnector. Here I have used another disconnector. So whenever I am configuring this disconnector, I have not created one more connection. నేను ఇక్కడ ఈ disconnector ని కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఇక్కడ నేను one more connection ని క్రియేట్ చేయలేదు. Why I have not created one more connection? Why? Because Boomi licensing cost is going to depend based on the number of connections you are going to use. అంటే మీరు ఇక్కడ యూజ్ చేసేటువంటి కనెక్షన్స్ ని బేస్ చేసుకొని భూమి లైసెన్సింగ్ కాస్ట్ అనేది డిపెండ్ అయింది. So in order to overcome that situation, here I have reutilized the same connection whatever I have used in the first disconnector. ఫస్ట్ డిస్కనెక్టర్ లో యూజ్ చేసినటువంటి కనెక్షన్ ఏదైతే ఉందో సేమ్ అదే కనెక్షన్ ని నేను సెకండ్ డిస్కనెక్టర్ లో యూజ్ చేశాను. Then here action is sent. Why? Because I am sending the data to the output folder. So because of that reason, here I have chosen action as send. Operation. So here in the first disconnector, I am picking up the file. So because of that reason, here I have chosen the operation with the file name. But when it comes to the second disconnector, I am getting the data into some other target folder. So because of that reason, there is nothing to configure related to the operation. So like this, I have configured this one and then I am going to click on. Now here, first disconnector is reflecting to the input folder. In the similar way, second disconnector is also reflecting to the input folder. Why? Because I have reutilized the connection. అంటే ఫస్ట్ డిస్కనెక్టర్ యూజ్ చేసినటువంటి కనెక్షన్ నేను మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడ రీయూటిలైజ్ చేశాను కాబట్టి బోత్ కనెక్షన్స్ ఆర్ రిఫ్లెక్టింగ్ టు ద ఇన్పుట్ ఫోల్డర్. బట్ యాక్చువల్లీ ఐ నీడ్ టు హ్యావ్ ద డైరెక్టరీ పార్ట్ రిఫ్లెక్టింగ్ టు ద అవుట్పుట్ ఫోల్డర్. అంటే నా సెకండ్ డిస్కనెక్టర్ లో నాకు యాక్చువల్గా ఏముండాలి? ఐ నీడ్ టు స్పెసిఫై ద directory path reflecting to the output folder. But here I am unable to reflect the output folder directory path. So in order to overcome that situation, in between I have used the set property shade. Okay, in between I have used the set property shade. Now with the help of the set property shade, I will be able to override the directory path. How? In the set property shape, we are having 4 types of properties. Okay, in the set property shape, we are having 4 types of properties. Those are nothing but document property, dynamic document property, process property, and dynamic process property. But here in this situation, I am facing the issue related to the document. Okay, in this particular situation, I am facing the issue related to the document. And here where I am facing the issue, I am facing the issue in the connector. In which connector I am facing the issue? I am facing the issue in the disk connector. So what is my issue? My issue is related to the directory path. So like this I have configured and I have specified the respective directory path here. Okay, and after that my requirement got changed. That is nothing but I need to change the file name. Okay, once my file reaches to the output folder, నా యొక్క ఫైల్ అనేది అవుట్పుట్ ఫోల్డర్ లోకి రీచ్ అయిన తర్వాత then I am interested to have the file name. Okay, I am interested to have the different file name. In order to have the different file name, I have mentioned the file name as dot orders output.cs. Okay, like this I have configured and then I have saved this one. Now I am going to test the process. So till here we have covered in the previous session. Now execution completed here itself. Why the stop shape is not getting executed? Why? Because whatever the data I am going to pick up from the input folder, the respective data is coming to the Boomi and the same data is moving into some other target folder. It means that the data is going to get terminated here itself. So because of that reason, the stop shape is not getting executed. Even though the stop shape is not getting executed, but it is mandatory to maintain the stop shape. Why? Because each and every process is going to start with the start shape, and in the similar way, it is going to end with the stop shape. Okay. Now, today I am going to enhance this process further. Okay. In the previous session, we have created some sample CSV or flat file consisting of orders data. Okay, మనం ఒక sample CSV or flat file ఒక sample data ని create చేసాం. Then I have placed that data in the input folder. Now with the help of the start shape of disconnector, I am able to read and I am able to fetch the data into the Boomi. Okay. Now my requirement is that I need to convert that particular CSV or flat file into the XML file format. అంటే నేను నా యొక్క ఇన్పుట్ ఫోల్డర్ లో ఉన్నటువంటి CSV ఆర్ ఫ్లాట్ ఫైల్ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఆ పర్టికులర్ ఫైల్ అనేది భూమిలోకి వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఫస్ట్ మై రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఈస్ దట్ ఐ నీడ్ టు కన్వర్ట్ దట్ పర్టికులర్ డేటా ఇంటూ ద XML file format. Okay, I need to convert the data into the XML file format. Once after converting the data into the XML file format, then again I need to write the same data into some other target folder. And today I need to perform two operations at a time. First operation is that I need to convert the data into the XML file format. Okay, నా దగ్గర ఉన్నటువంటి డేటాని నేను XML file format లో కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలి. Once after converting the data into the XML file format, I need to write the same XML data into some other output folder. Okay, so first I am going to perform. Okay, I am going to perform and I am going to show you how to convert the data into the XML file format. Now, in order to convert the data, one particular file format into another file format, here I need to use map shape. Okay. So here map shape is helpful for me to convert or transform one particular file format into the another file format. Okay. What's the purpose of this map shape? Map shape is helpful for me to convert or transform one particular file format into the another file format. Okay. So as part of that here, I am going to use the map shape. Okay, map shape is helpful for me to convert or transform one particular file format into the another file format. Now I am going to configure the respective map shape. So here start shape of disconnector is going to read the CSV or flat file input data and the same input data is entering into the map shape. Once the data reaches to the map shape, now I need to configure this one. I am going to click on this plus button. Now here in the map shape, we are having three different tabs here. Okay, we are having three different tables. First one, this is related to the source. Source is nothing but whatever the input I am going to get into the map shape. Okay, whatever the input I am going to get into the map shape, that is called as source. అంటే మ్యాప్ షేప్ లేక వచ్చేటటువంటి ఇన్పుట్ డేటా ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో దాన్ని మనం సోర్స్ అంటాం. అండ్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద అవుట్పుట్ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు గెట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద మ్యాప్ షేప్, దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ డెస్టినేషన్. అంటే ఇన్పుట్ ఏదైతే వస్తుందో దాన్ని మనం సోర్స్ అంటాము, అవుట్పుట్ నుంచి ఏదైతే వస్తుందో దాన్ని మనం టార్గెట్ ఆర్ డెస్టినేషన్ అంటాం. సో ఇన్ బిట్వీన్, ఇన్ ఆర్డర్ టు డూ సర్టెన్ operations or in order to perform certain tasks, we are going to use the functions. Okay, so today being early session, first I will show you how to fetch the source. Source is nothing but మీ యొక్క మ్యాప్ షేప్ లోకి వచ్చేటటువంటి ఇన్పుట్ డేటా ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో ఆ పర్టికులర్ ఇన్పుట్ డేటాని how to fetch into the source side and how to configure the target side and how to do the mapping and how to convert the data into the XML file format. So in the upcoming sessions, I will show you where to use the functions as well. Okay. Now, I am going to configure the source side. I will click on the source button. That is nothing but choose button. What is the type of data I am getting as input here? Okay. What is the type of data I am getting into the input? Okay. Map shape leki naaku vachetatundi data input enti? That is nothing but CSV or flat file data. Okay. I am going to get the CSV or flat file data into the map shape. Once after getting the data, now here I need to create the profile. Creating the profile is nothing but I need to import, okay, I need to import the input file data elements. Okay, now this is the input file. Now I need to import these elements into the map shape. In order to import the data into the map shape, now I am going to click on these options and here I am going to select use column headers. అంటే మీ యొక్క ఇన్పుట్ ఫైల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి కాలమ్ హెడర్స్ అంటే ఏంటి? These are the column headers. Okay, order ID, product and price. These are the column headers. Now I am going to select use column headers and here file delimiter. File delimiter in the sense each and every element in the input file is separated by comma. Okay, input file lo unnatuvanti each and every element has been separated by comma. So here I have chosen comma delimiter. I'll save this one. Okay, I will save this one. Once after saving, I will come back to the data elements. Once after coming back to the data elements, here I am going to click on this record. Okay, once after clicking on record, here you will be able to see the import option. Okay, it is mandatory that you need to select on this record and then you need to select on import option. Why? Now you need to import the records whatever you are having in the input file. మీ యొక్క input file లో ఉన్నటువంటి records ఏదైతే ఉన్నాయో ఆ records ని మీరు import చేయాలి. So in order to import the records in the input file, here I am going to select on import option and then here I am going to choose the file. Okay, here I am going to choose the file. Once after choosing the file, I need to come back to the input folder. Okay, where is my input folder? So this is my input folder. Okay, this is my input folder. I am going to select on this respective input folder and then I am going to click on open. Once after clicking on open, if I click on next, now it is going to import the respective data. Okay, whatever the data I have placed in the input file, the respective data I am going to import into the map shape. So in map shape like data ఎలా వస్తుందంటే ఇక్కడ ఆర్డర్ ఐడిలో ఉన్నటువంటి ఎలిమెంట్స్ 101 102 ఏదైతే ఉన్నాయో ఈ 2 ఎలిమెంట్స్ రెస్పెక్టివ్ ఆర్డర్ ఐడిలో సేవ్ అవుతాయి. So the mobile and laptop, whatever the elements I am having here, these 2 elements will get stored in the product. Price values will get stored in the price. Okay, so ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి ఏవైతే వాల్యూస్ ఉన్నాయో రెస్పెక్టివ్ వాల్యూస్ రెస్పెక్టివ్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ లో సేవ్ అవుతాయి అన్నమాట. Now I am going to click on finish. Now here if I click on these elements, now order ID is one profile element, product is one profile element and price is one profile element. The respective record values 101 and 102 will get placed in the order ID. Mobile and laptop will get placed in the product and the respective price values will get stored in the price. Okay, now I have configured the source side. I am going to click on save and close. I'll click on OK. Now here source side you are going to see the respective elements. Okay, now source side I am having the CSV or flat file data. Okay, source side I am having the CSV or flat file data. Now I need to convert this particular data into the XML file format. Okay, now I need to convert this data into the XML file format. In order to convert this data into the XML file format, in the target side I am not having the XML data readily available. Okay, in the target side I am not having the XML data readily available. So in order to get proper XML data, okay, in order to get proper XML data, now I need to create some sample dummy data or metadata. నేను ఇప్పుడు ఒక sample raw data or dummy data or metadata. Okay, anything is fine. So I am going to create some sample dummy data which is looking like an XML. Okay, ఇక్కడ నా దగ్గర XML ఫైల్ అనేది డేటా రెడీగా అవైలబిలిటీలో లేదు కాబట్టి, so because of that reason here I am going to create some sample XML data. So as part of that I am going to click on this notepad and here I am going to take one more notepad and here I am going to create some sample XML data. So in order to create the XML data, what type of data I need to create here? I need to create the sample orders data. Why? Because నాకు యొక్క ఇన్పుట్ ఫైల్లో నాకు ఆర్డర్స్ శాంపుల్ డేటా ఉంది. So because of that reason, now in the XML file creation, I am going to use the same similar type of data. So as part of that, now here I am going to write small piece of XML scripting. Whenever you are writing XML scripting, you have to use less than symbol and then you need to write orders and then you need to close with the greater than symbol. It is similar like HTML code. So whatever the elements you are going to write, those elements has to be used in between less than and greater than symbols. And after that, now here, what is the type of data I'm having here? I'm having odd ready product and price. Now here, I'm going to take odd ready element. Okay, I'm going to take odd ready element. Now this is some sample metadata or dummy data. Can I create some sample data cavity? Now here I can create any odd ready. So for time being, here I am going to take odd ready as one. Now I need to close this odd ready. Okay, now I need to close this odd ready. Whenever you want to close any element, you need to use forward slash and then I am going to use odd ready. Okay, I am going to use odd ready. Then I am going to take one more element, that is nothing but the product. Now I am going to use similar product. Then here I am going to take any product. Okay, here I am going to take the product as book. Okay, then I am going to close that respect to product value. Now I am going to close that respect product value with forward slash. Now here I am having another element as price. Okay, now here I am having another element as price. Now here I am going to take price element and here price I will be taking as 200 rupees. Okay, now I am going to close that respect to price value. Okay, now I am going to close that respect to price value. Now here I have opened already and I have closed already product, price. Now I need to close this respect to orders data. In order to close that respect to orders data, here I am going to use forward slash orders. Okay, now I have created some sample XML data. Now I need to save this file. Okay, now I need to save this file. In order to save this file, I am going to click on file and then I am going to select save as. Once after selecting save as, now here I am going to choose input file information. Okay, now here I am going to name this file as metadata. Okay, I am going to name this file as metadata and this file is in the form of XML. So because of that reason, here I am going to use the XML extension. Okay, here I am going to use .xml extension. Now here in save as type, here I am going to select all files. Okay, here I am going to select all files. Then I am going to save this one. Once after saving, if I come back to the folder management, here you are going to see the data as with the file name metadata. Now if I keep the cursor here, you are going to see the file name as HTML document. If I double click on this one, this will be opened in the form of HTML document. But now if I want to open this one in the XML file format, I need to right click on this one and then I need to select open with and then I need to select the notepad. Then this will be opened in the form of XML file format. Now in the target side, I am going to import that respect to metadata. I am going to choose this one. What is the type of data? That is in the form of XML. Now here I am going to click on this profile. Okay. Now I am going to import that profile. Now I am going to choose the file. And here I am going to choose that respect to metadata, whatever I have created just now. Okay. This is the metadata which I have created just now, metadata. Now I am going to open. I'll click on next. Now it is going to import the respective XML file elements. I am going to click on finish. Now here I am having order ID, product and price. These elements are in the form of XML file format and here order ID 1, product, book and price 200. All those respective values are getting stored within this respective data elements here. I am going to save and close. I'll click on. Now here I am going to map each and every element respectively. Order ID to the order ID, product to the product, price to the price. Keep the cursor here, you drag and drop here. Like this is the map. And whatever the elements are getting stored here, those elements are going to map with these respective elements and the CSV or flat file conversion is going to happen and then it will get converted as XML file data. Okay, I am going to save this one, save and close. I'll click on OK. Now here I am going to use the stop. I'll save this one. Now I will test the process. Now execution completed successfully. Okay, now execution completed successfully. Now, if I click on this top shape, if I click on the shape source data, if I open this document viewer, here I'll be able to see the record order ID 101 will get converted into the XML file. Okay, the respective data is getting converted into the XML file. Now, if I open this second record, that has been converted into the XML file with order ID 102. Okay, fine. Now, I am able to convert the data into the XML file format. Now, okay, so now whatever the testing I have done as bits and pieces, this type of testing is called as unit testing. Okay, now as a whole, I am having two tasks and I have splitted those two tasks here. So first task is that converting the data into the XML, and then I am going to send the data into some other target folder. So whenever you are testing like this, that is called as unit testing. Now I need to send this XML data into some other target folder. So in previous session, whenever we are having the configuration like this, ఇంతకుముందు మన configuration ఇలా ఉంది. So at this point of time, the start shape of disconnector is going to send CSV or flat file data into the set property. Okay, the start shape of disconnector is going to send CSV or flat file data into the set property. Now, in today's session, if I am going to connect the map shape like this, it means that I am going to send the XML data into the set property shape. Okay, I am going to send the XML data into the set property shape. Now, here in the set property shape, I need to modify the file name as .xml. Why? Because whatever the data I am getting from the map shape, that is in the form of XML file format. So because of that reason, here I need to specify the file name as .xml. I'll save this one. Now this is in zigzag mode. If I click on this arrange button, then this will be in proper format. Now I am going to test this process. Once after testing, I should be capable enough to see the respective data reaching to the target folder. Now, if I click on this disconnector, if I click on the shape source data, if I open this document viewer, here I'll be able to see the respective XML data, order ID 101. Now, if I open this document viewer, here I'll be able to see the respective order ID 102. So finally, the data reaches to the target folder. Okay, fine. Now, let's take example. Okay, now here in this situation, I am having two records. Okay, this is single CSV or flat file. This is a particular CSV or flat file consisting of two records. Whenever I am having two records, okay, at the time of XML conversion, ఓకే, నా యొక్క ఇన్పుట్ ఫైల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి టూ రికార్డ్స్ ఎక్స్ఎంఎల్ ఫైల్ లెక్క నేను కన్వర్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు దీస్ టూ రికార్డ్స్ ఆర్ గెటింగ్ కన్వర్టెడ్ ఇంటూ టూ డిఫరెంట్ ఎక్స్ఎంఎల్ డాక్యుమెంట్స్. ఓకే, ఒక సిఎస్వి ఆర్ ఫ్లాట్ ఫైల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి టూ రికార్డ్స్ ఎక్స్ఎంఎల్ ఫైల్ లెక్క కన్వర్ట్ అయ్యేటప్పటికి టూ డిఫరెంట్ డాక్యుమెంట్స్ గా కన్వర్ట్ అయ్యాయి. సపోజ్ ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ హ్యావింగ్ 100 రికార్డ్స్ ఉన్న ఇన్పుట్ ఫైల్, నా యొక్క ఇన్పుట్ ఫైల్లో 100 రికార్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయనుకోండి, ఈ సిచ్యువేషన్ లో ఇఫ్ ఐ ఎక్స్పోర్ట్ దిస్ ప్రాసెస్, those 100 records are going to get converted as 100 different XML documents. Okay, 100 different XML documents. Now, my requirement is that I don't want individual XML files. Okay, ఇక్కడ నాకు 2 records ఉంటే 2 different XML files వస్తున్నాయి, 10 records ఉంటే 10 different XML files వస్తున్నాయి. Now, instead of that, I am expecting to have single consolidated XML file. అంటే నా దగ్గర 2 రికార్డ్స్ ఉన్నా 10 రికార్డ్స్ ఉన్నా 100 రికార్డ్స్ ఉన్నా కానీ I need to generate single consolidated XML file in such a way that all the records should be in a single file getting converted into the XML data. Okay, that part I will show you in tomorrow's session.